All right. Thank you very much. Just a moment. Okay. Thank you very much, Nana. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. As she introduced, hope everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, just a thumb up would be good. My name is 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗶. I'm a software engineer. That's my basic. Then I have handled roles such as CTO, as she mentioned. I have also worked with in mentoring space. I've worked in fintech space, currently working in network space. So I have over a decade, precisely 14 years. So, so I actually enjoy volunteering. I do that because it's one thing to acquire knowledge. Some people shared knowledge with me. That's why I am here. So I'm always eager to also share knowledge so that other people that are facing what I have faced before can also find their way around that. So that is why I'm actually glad. I appreciate this opportunity to be here once again to have a chit chat. We'll not call this just a workshop. It will be more of a chit chat. We'll try as much as possible to make it interactive. While I share my own experiences, I might have to call on people to also share, excuse me, to also share their own perspective to these things. So, with respect to that, let's dive into it. We're talking about building tech confidence. When we talk about building tech confidence, most times it's more difficult for females in this space. Let's be very, very realistic when it comes to building, talking, having this confidence in the space. When you have a team and everyone is male dominated and you're more or less the only female, or maybe you are just a few number of that faction, and you find yourself having this fear, you have this fear, you have this imposter syndrome that keeps holding you back. And that brings us to ask ourselves, what exactly is the fear? What exactly is imposter syndrome? And when we talk about fear, that is something that keeps holding you back, that keeps reminding you that you can't do it, you can't achieve it. If I can be a CTO and I've been a CTO, I've been tech leads, then anyone on this call can also be better than that, can handle teams, can handle organizations. So why are we always having this fear as women, as ladies, and try to step back and act at the background? Now, this brings me to ask a question. Have you ever found yourself in a situation or a scenario where you feel like you are so scared and overwhelmed? If you have, just a thumb up, like you just feel like this thing, I can't do it. Like, will I be able to achieve it? This task feels overwhelming. Do you know that I have had conversation with guys as well, and they also feel the same. So why do they make us feel as females we have it more? So I beg to differ. Everybody has it, whether you're a male or a female. We all have this fear. We all have this imposter syndrome. The only difference between the male and we is the fact that we are as called weaker vessels. But are we really weak? I think we are just being boxed up. We are just being looked at like we can't really give our 100%. And that is why that imposter syndrome is, we need to keep reminding ourselves that it is good and it's acceptable to have imposter syndrome, but it is bad to stay there and let it determine your progress. And that takes me to the next thing I would like to talk about, which is what are the things that causes this kind of frustrations for us. For me personally, when I started my career, I got to that particular space, that was an intern, that was in 2011, and I happened to be, it was an engineering firm. So it was good. Okay, quick background. I studied electronics and computer engineering. So I've always been in a male domineering field. So, and that's being said, getting to the space and I realized that I was like the only female. It's not like I was not used to that scenario coming from an engineering community, that's a class of engineers, or getting to a workplace as well. And I found out that I'm still the only female in a work environment. I always try to like rethink everything I have to say. Like, am I making sense? Am I saying it right? Is it the way it's supposed to be said? But over a period of time, I realized that sometimes even the guy says the dumbest things. So say it, yes, there will be a feedback. And that is where the imposter syndrome, talking about it, I think I have this fear. I discuss it, and one or two people will help me narrow it down, give me suggestions, give me opinion, their own opinion. Then I take it as a feedback and I work on it. If you have questions, please drop your questions and in the chat box. So with that being said, I realized that okay, I can say these things, I can feel this way. So I started actually looking at things that challenge me, things that make me feel unsafe. And that is what I call my own frustrations. Firstly, my first frustrations is always lack of recognition. Do you feel you are being recognized in your space? Be it tech, be it wherever your career is, wherever your field is, are you recognized? And once you feel like you're not recognized, that is when that fear and that imposter syndrome starts settling in. You just kind of feel frustrated. Oh, nobody sees what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not even doing it right, and all that. And with that at the forefront of your mind, you end up having this overworking yourself. So you're not enjoying what you're doing. You're just trying to not just meet an expectation now. It is more like you're trying to prove a point. You get frustrated when you try to prove a point, and that is a factor that is determined by your fear. Now, you don't have a fear, you do something, you enjoy it, people clap, you take the glory. If you have fear and you're doing it, you're not confident enough that you're doing the right thing because you feel, oh, maybe people are not saying it. And that in its own is enough to keep you limited. In fact, you might not even want to even do those things because you feel you will not be recognized, you will not be appreciated. You feel whatever they say you're not receptive of either positive criticism or negative criticism. You're not receptive of it. So that is one of the frustrations. Another one is this issue of gender bias and stereotypes in the workspace. When we say gender bias, do you still believe that some companies are not gender inclusive? Yes. I once had an opportunity to be interviewed, and from the body language of the interviewers, I realized that they are not inclusive. For crying out loud, I'm a married woman, and somebody is pushing work period from 8 to 6 p.m. Okay, fine. And he said I should always be available, even on call, night period, midnight. And I'm like, okay, what are the benefits? What are the factors if I choose not to be available, except when there is an emergency? And they were all uptight, and I felt this is toxic. This is being biased. We know the peculiarity of the female. So why are you this rigid? I'm not saying I won't deliver from the 8 to 6 if your terms and conditions are, but what do you mean by I have to be available anytime at past 6 p.m.? No, that in itself is giving me a vibe of not inclusive, gender bias. Or when it's time for appraisals, then you see some companies say, because you're a female, that's why we can't give you this kind of benefits, we can't give you this kind of position. Oh, we can't allow a female to be our CTO. It doesn't speak well of the company. What do you mean? Is it that I haven't been delivering? Is it that I haven't been able to coordinate the team? So when that comes in play, that causes another level of frustration. It doesn't mean that you as an individual hasn't put your best foot forward. It just means that the environment stereotypes that workspace, that particular space you're in, and they're not giving you an opportunity to thrive in that environment. So at that point, when you're frustrated, what should you do? We'll get to that as well. The top thing I tell my frustration is unequal pay. Do you know that basically when we rate the pay grade for the male counterpart and the female counterpart, they are oftentimes not on the same level? Why is that so? Especially in tech space. there are always these reservations. We did a survey one time, and a lot of female engineers, although they are even few, so out of the few, they still have this complaint of their pay compared to their counterpart. I'm sorry to disappoint. If I'm in that space and I'm working with you, I will speak up. Do you understand? And there's this policy behind my mind that tells me if you're not going to appreciate me, I better start looking outward. That shows I am not scared. I am not afraid to move. Yes. So as much as possible, I'm putting out the best. I'm doing what the male counterpart are doing. Although, yes, I have my own days you just want to know we are females. You know, those 4 days where you're just on your low energy and you just don't want to do anything. It doesn't mean I am lazy. I'm still keeping up. I am sure every woman, every lady, every girl tries to compete positively, LD, in an LD manner to compete with the males, even in classrooms. I have kids and I see the way they come talk about their female. I have boys actually. So I see the way they talk about girls in their class and trying to compete. One of my sons will even tell you outrightly, a girl cannot beat me in the class. And I laugh. As young as you are, you're already having this bias in the mind. So I had to sit them down and also talk to them. So that's actually I've played into the bigger picture of workspace where people actually have unequal pay, unequal promotions, and all that. Then another thing that can cause frustration from this is lack of work-life balance or burnout. You can easily get frustrated as well if you're not balancing your work life, and you easily get burnout and all that. Then the last thing on that list is inadequate professional development. I've come to realize that when a lot of females get to a particular level, they cap their studying, their reading, they just kind of get into this, I'm going to end up in the kitchen kind of mode. And I think that in itself is an imposter syndrome. Who told you you will end up in the kitchen? Who told you you will end up selling shoes and bags? Who told you? Is it your environment that is constraining you, or is it your choice? You can choose to want to sell. You can choose to want to be in the kitchen. Yes, it's a personal preference. But is it because you feel, "Ah, I don't want to even develop myself anymore? The one that I even developed, people are not appreciating it." No, please don't let that limit you. You should make that be like a strength. So for every time someone is not giving you that recognition, take that upon yourself to develop yourself, to fight that imposter syndrome, that fear they're trying to imbibe into you, that fear they're trying to project into you. Try as much as possible to use that. Um, all these things I mentioned, recognitions and all that, that are causing your frustration, work on them, separate them. So the next thing, what are the things we actually say that actually also shows that we are having this imposter syndrome? There are some tags, there are some words that we say, like, I really don't know. I don't know enough. Imagine you are in a workspace and they ask you, okay, let me give you a practical scenario. Oh, we'd like to do an integration with 𝗧𝗏𝗰. I have never done 𝗧𝗏𝗰 integration before. We want you to do an integration for 𝗧𝗏𝗰 this sprint, and we want it to be demoed by the end of the sprint, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, I don't know anything about 𝗧𝗏𝗰. Yeah, you don't have to know it. You could research about it. It would be better, instead of saying, I don't know anything about it, it would be better to say things like, I will learn about it. Okay, let me quickly make a research and give a revert. Let me quickly update myself to the integrations available, or their documentation. With that, you're already having this confidence. You are projecting a confident personality, not, I don't know anything about this 𝗧𝗏𝗰, or I don't even know anything about this security standards and all that. No, please don't use, I don't know it. You can use, I can research on it. You can use things like, I will learn more. Oh, let me quickly look up the documentation. Do you understand? So those are the things that we should stop saying, because those sentences actually portray fear. They portray that imposter syndrome. Another statement is, I have finished this integration. Did I do it very well? Is it what they want? Did it meet up standard? Oh, did it meet up standards? Fine. I have done it. I looked at the documentation. It meets the required standard, and I have been able to put things together. Yes, I have completed that. Okay, look up the documentation. Security, did I meet all security measures? No. Yes, I have done that. Then put it out, demo it. People are bound to have their opinion. Yes. So when I demo things to two different people, they will have two different opinions. How do I receive it? I'm not going to receive it as if they are criticizing me. No. I receive it as if, okay, that's your opinion. Oh, I could have done it like this. No, no, no. I thought about that. That won't work. Because I'm not letting you put fear in me. I'm not letting you make me feel less of myself. Some people are even as bad as they will tell you, oh, this is not the right way to do it. And I'll ask you, is your own way the right way then? Do you understand? Like, are you trying to tell me that the only right way is your own way? No. Especially in the development environment, in software environment, you can have several ways of doing things. The issue now is, what are you trying to achieve? What is the code base? What is the environment you're using? Those are the factors. You don't know that factor. You just saw one snippet of my code and you're assuming your way is better than my way. No, I will challenge you on that. And that's give the whoever is listening that's part of you and says, oh, that projected part of you, and they realize that, okay, no, this person knows what he or she or is doing. Do you understand? So that is the part I wanted to talk about, that we should try as much as possible, no matter how we feel we are scared or something. Don't use the negative words. Be open. Then if you don't, eventually, if you find out that you don't know something, yes, sometimes you tell you, oh no, you don't know it. True. But don't say, I don't know it. I don't know what to do. Oh, I don't know this, but I can find out, I can make a research, I'll revert. Let me quickly update myself. Let me quickly research. Let me quickly investigate this. Do you understand? With that, you are already on the track of ensuring that the imposter syndrome is not settling in you. Then this also take me to the action plan. So when you say you have imposter syndrome and you want to overcome it, you want to be able to be confident, you want to be able to talk, speak, and tell whatever you have done. At that point, you have some things you have to constantly do. Now, personally, you have to sit yourself down and have a conversation, one-on-one conversation with yourself. I call it soundboard. Sometimes you just have to sit back and say, okay, what should I do? How have I been doing this thing? Have I been doing it right? And I have some action points, about 6 of them, that we should constantly evaluate ourselves with, so that we can actually be sure that even if imposter syndrome creeps in, even if the fear creeps in, yes, it's valid, but you should be able to nib it and be able to tell yourself, oh, this is an imposter syndrome. Oh, this is fear creeping in. Oh, this is people portraying it. Sometimes you might not even have the fear naturally. You are confident, but somebody is selling the fear idea to you by the way they talk at you. You should be able to identify it. So with that, I will say the first thing is acknowledge the feeling. Okay, we are here because we know that there is something called confidence. We are here because we know that there's something called lack of confidence. We are here today because we know that there are fear that creep up on us, knowingly or unknowingly. We are here because we know what is called imposter syndrome. That's why we are here. And that's the first thing to solving the problem, by acknowledging it. You have to pay attention to the moments when you feel like a fraud. You have to keep paying attention. I would like us to drop in the comment section if you have experience or you have had scenarios where you had that fear creeping on you. Just drop, and how you have been able to, or I have to just maybe, if you have something, you could just identify by raising your hand and all that. So when you have that fear and you're a bit like, okay, oh, there is a review process, and that's a scenario I'm giving right now. And there is a review, and at that review, you realize that they were asking you things like, what have you done this year or this quarter? And at that moment, you're feeling like, truly, I've not done anything. No, I could have done better, or those kind of things. Or you feel intimidated by whoever is asking you. Please, after that kind of review, after that kind of session, go back and reflect on that conversation and write what made you get scared. What triggered that fear for you? Note it down. Was it the way you asked the question? Was it your readiness to answer? Try to itemize those things. So when you know what kind of things trigger you, for some people, their trigger might be what people say to them. That might be their own trigger. For others, it might just be that their own trigger is environments. Maybe when they are in a space where a lot of people are a lot of people they feel are bigger or are more senior colleagues are, they get intimidated. They just feel less of themselves. So when you know what your own trigger is, that is the first thing you have identified. You know, okay, these are the kind of things that cause this kind of feeling for me. Okay, if I know that if I'm in a space where I have more senior colleagues and I feel okay, I'll start having this fear, I'll start having this imposter syndrome, like I'm not good enough, I shouldn't be in this space. What do I now need to work on? Since I identified it, I can now move to the next thing, which is spot pattern. I'll spot the pattern. I've acknowledged that, okay, anytime this thing happens, it's always following a sequence, a particular sequence. Once I am in this kind of space, this is triggered, then I get I start fidgeting, then I don't deliver. Now I've seen a particular pattern to it. That will help me to know what to do because I have actually spot the pattern. The next thing is challenge negative self-talk. So when I have I've been able to map it out, okay, these are the things that trigger me, because this is a self-evaluation at that point. So you know, okay, this thing is what trigger me. This thing is what make me feel less of myself. I can now go further and say, okay, I am capable. No, I can do it. Give yourself a slogan. Give yourself a chat. Give yourself a word that anytime you are in that space and that kind of thing is about to happen and you can see the pattern, you can keep reminding yourself. Have you ever tried to have to be in a space where you're speaking in a public event and you look at people and they tell you, try look above their head and try, they've given you things that generally should work, but it doesn't work for you. Then maybe in your mind, you have I can speak, I am God chosen, the words I will speak are life. And you start reciting things that are just personal to you. It kind of calm your nerves. So the same thing works even in the tech space. So when I have to, are they doing something broke? The server is not up. Can we quickly have a meeting? Can we jump on a hurdle? Once I jump into the hurdle, I just keep reciting things in my head. I didn't break the server. I wasn't the cause. Whatever it was, we investigate, we'll find it out, we'll figure it out. Yes. But you can't speak to me and make me feel like I can't find a solution. No. So I will recite those things that give me that confidence, no matter who is in the meeting. Sometimes you have the top management in the meeting. Yes. And they're like, oh, do you know how much millions we are lost? Do you know stakeholders are there and they're all on you? At that point, what do you do? My word of affirmation will be the only thing I use to keep reminding myself of why I need to speak up positively. Then that takes us to the next point. That's point number 4. The first one was acknowledge the feeling. The second one, spot the pattern. The third one, challenge negative talk by giving yourself words of affirmation. Then the fourth one, win journal. So when we say win journal, a lot of us in the okay, let me say it like this: a lot of starters don't really document or keep down what they did. So what do I mean like that? Every day, if you can't do day, week, if you can't do week, month, recap on things you did that you win. Recap on things that you did that you did not win. How you were able to, or processes you need to put in place to win. So for instance, last month I was able to work on 2 projects or 2 features. Okay. Last month or last quarter, I was able to achieve 1, 2, 3. If you write it down, when it's written down, it helps you to remember. Oh, we have a very great memory. Oh, thank God. We are very intelligent. Glory be to God. But do you know that as time passes by, there are some things that you will not naturally remember. It will just go into the the back part of your memory, and you will lose track. But when you have a win journal, and when that imposter syndrome creeping, and you're like, this first quarter, I've not even done anything. This first quarter that passed, I've not achieved anything. Then you open your win journal and you're like, oh, I actually did this. I actually did that. That in a way boosts your confidence again. That in a way give you that assurance, that affirmation that, oh, it wasn't that bad. Although I was supposed to achieve 10 things, I have maybe 10 goals. For instance, for first quarter, I'm just case scenario. I have 10 what do you call it, goals, and along the line, I didn't achieve the 10 goals. And I felt like I didn't even do anything in first quarter. I didn't achieve. But by the time I look at my win journal, I can say that, oh, I was even able to achieve things I did not even put on the goals. Maybe the goals were too broad, or I didn't properly measure the goals when I was setting it. Sometimes you make some mistakes and you feel, okay, let me cite an example. We have a project, and after developments, we've done the questionnaires, we've done development, we've done MVP. They wanted to go into, we even had MVP rolled out, people have started subscribing. It was a product. And after subscriptions and all that, we wanted to go live. We have picked the date for launching and everything. And federal government brought out the policies that disrupted everything we have done. And at that point, we all got destabilized. Okay, what do we do? Okay, let's go back to did we achieve going live? No, that's the truth. But did we build the product? Yes, we did. Did we build the product in the timeline, specific timeline? Yes, we did. Is that a win or not? Yes, it's a win. Did we? Now people will go like, okay, but you guys didn't go live. You didn't generate revenue and all that. And you're like, yes, we didn't, because that was beyond us. Don't talk me down and say the team was not good. Don't talk anybody in my team down and say they were not giving their best. They gave their best. But there are some times that situations might not allow you to achieve that goal. Why are you not beating yourself? Because you didn't write what you want down. But if you have a win journal, that will ensure that you don't lose track of your accomplishment. And if you're working with organizations, that win journals are things that help you during review sessions. I used to say something that when you are doing your sprint reviews and you're talking about everything, the products or the features you're moving in and all, and you're saying things like, so this feature it's supposed to do XYZ, and that's all. Thank you. Any question? If I'm on that team, I'll just look at it like, sorry, you took 2 weeks, and this is how you can sell yourself to the entire company. I would suggest, if you're in that kind of position or that situation, because you have a win journal, you know what you did at the micro level, you can actually say, oh, at this point, this particular feature was deployed, we're able to, based on the analysis, we're able to reduce latency by this, we're able to improve the speed by this. Also, in terms of revenue generation, we're able to meet this. Formerly, we used to be on this. You have gone beyond just the feature now. Now you are now selling yourself based on the win journal, things that you have taken down. Okay, I have a question there. Okay, quickly, I will get to that now. So because of that win journal, that helps you to be able to speak and put measures to it because you wrote it down. You wrote the measures down. Let me look at the question. How does one deal with the feeling of not being good enough, even when you are as competent? Okay. Okay. That's fine. So the fifth thing, I can continue then, no problem. Thanks. The fifth thing, reflect and reclaim your narrative. Constantly, all the process I've measured, always reflect and reclaim it. So after a few period of time, look back, ask yourself, okay, what is the new trigger? Have my trigger changed? Is there a new pattern? Do I need a new slogan? When you are growing, some things, you overcome some things, and new things comes as a challenge. So that is where you have to use the fifth action plan, which is reflect and reclaim your narrative. Then finally, if every of these things is not helping you to grow, at that point, you need a professional support. a coach, a mentor would do, someone that will more like a checkmate for you. So I have two mentees right now working with me, and the only task I have to do is ensure that, okay, so what did you do? Have you written it down? Oh, go and write it down. Okay, this last week, this last month, what was your trigger? What has changed? If you need someone to constantly remind you, if you need that professional help, please ask for it, seek that help once it's needed. Now, I have questions before audience also asks questions. I want us to take a few seconds and think about the last time we have fear, the most recent fear we have right now. Let's think about and reflect on that. The most recent fear we have, the most recent challenge we faced that portrays itself as a imposter syndrome. Write it down. Maybe if you have your phone or something, just write it down. You don't have to type it in the chat box. This is personal right now. Just type it down quickly. And if you're typing, please give me an emoji if you heard what I said and you're doing that. Okay. So write that feeling down. What exactly triggered it? What exactly happened? If you can remember it clearly, write it down as fresh as it is in your mind. So now that you have written that down, the next few lines, take down, write 5 different things you think you can do to resolve that. So I can't speak to my boss. My boss is always intimidating me, for instance. Now, what do you think causes that trigger? Why is it intimidating me? Is it because I don't submit report on time? Do you understand? I'm giving scenarios that you can use as a case study. Your own fear, your own feeling might be different, but something in that line, things that cause that approach. Oh, what happened when he felt bad about what I did? What could you have done better to make him happier? Do you understand? Just write that down. Make it like 5 things you could have done better to have averted that feeling you had. If you are done, give an emoji if you're done. So let's do it like this. If you are done with the first part, writing down the last fear you had, the last imposter syndrome, please put a 1 in the comment section. If you are done writing it down, put a 1 in the comment section. Writing down the most recent fear you had, the most recent imposter syndrome you had. Okay, I can see Nifemi. Okay, I can see Moyo. That fear, just one fear. We're just trying to make it practical now. Just one fear. I can see Phoebe. The most recent of it, or the one you can remember that, okay, this happened, or when this happened, a feeling you had. I can't see others. So for people that finished the one, you can move to the second thing. 5 things you could have done differently. 5 things you could have done differently to resolve that kind of fear. Because people that picked that wrote one now, I'm ask you to share along the line. Just if you don't want to give details, please just let us know. Just summarize for us so we can use that as a case study in the question and answer QS session. Who is done with number 2? Who is done with reflective exercise number 2? If you're done with 2, just put 2 in the comments. Thank you, Nifemi, Moyo, Phoebe, Abigail, Kehinde, Rebecca. You're done with 1. How about 2? Is done with 2? Things that you could have done differently, things that will have helped resolve it, how you could actually ensure that that kind of thing doesn't happen again next time. Are we done with that? Anyone done? Nana, are you done? because I'm passing the mic to you right now. Over to you. Okay, thank you very much. I will answer that with a practical example. Not example, practical life scenario. So I once had a boss. That was when after serving and I went back to finals. That was my year five. They retained me in the company as a full staff, but they gave me a lesser salary range since I'll be working more like that's like remote like 2012. So it was more like hybrid. So I go to school during the week, I come to work weekends kind of arrangement. And after all that, year five was done, I was back to the company and my salary was not increased, was not raised. And I can see now I'm full staff, I'm working full time, I know what the colleagues are earning, and nothing is happening on my own end. People are like, go out, go and ask. And I realized that, okay, I had to study my boss. And that's a lot of time, things that a lot of us don't get right. One particular approach does not fit all. You have to study who you are going to approach. I realized that this particular person I want to approach right now likes you bringing um, good news to get things from him. So what do I mean like that? He gave a tax. The tax looks like it was, in fact, he said it himself that if he can finish this tax, you will see what I will do. And I was like, okay, that's a challenge. So instead of me just walking up to him, most times it's always better you go with a positive um, implementation, a positive result first to give you like a leverage to discuss. I can't just walk to a boss and say, I think I'm due for a raise. No, don't go like that. That is wrong. I'll try it wrong. But if you go with a measure, with something that will sit with him, that's being intelligent. Let's just be very, very sincere with ourselves. Human intelligence is necessary at that point. So I went to him, finished the task, deployed it, everything was fine. And I went to him and said, oh, sir, I finished the task. In fact, I gave a report. And once I was done, and I said, sir, I would like to have a conversation with you. I said, doing what is it? And I said, with respect to this is what I'm currently earning. And they were like, okay, they paid me that amount and 3 months outstanding. Because I told him, I finished like 3 months ago. I've been back for like 3 months. I've been working actively and all that. Because I gave him an information that also um, benefit the company. It was easy to ask for review or for increment. So if you don't have a win journal, if you don't have something that is measurable, most times your requests will be turned down. So that's what I would say. Have something that you're given so that you can actually use that as a baseline for your request. Does that answer your question? Okay. Okay. So let's take that from two different perspectives. One, if you feel that this is portrayed on you, you are being competent, you are delivering, you ask for review from team members, from senior colleagues, your line manager, if you get review from them and everything you have gotten, competence is not judged by you alone. Let's be sincere with ourselves. So ask for reviews from other people around you, positively, negatively. Once you are when you are certain that okay, yes, I am competent. Personally, yes. From reviews, yes. Then if the system, that's the first angle, if the system is just being rigid and being biased, I will tell you, look for a more inclusive environment that will allow you to thrive. There's no point competing in that space. No. But if your competence after your review and everything, you felt or now realize that okay, this is a positive review. You worked on yourself. If there's some negative here and there, and you go up to your, I said, get a measure, get something to hold on to, like figures. Meet with the team lead, the line manager, whoever is in charge of your team. Is a person, is a human being. You can approach them. Just please go with your facts, go with your numbers, go with screenshots. I used to love to use screenshots a lot. I go with records. So please, if it is a biased team, you are competent, but they're just being biased. I have worked in a space like that. They will not increase a female salary and they will keep increasing the guys on the male counterparts. I didn't stay long there. I left because I realized that there's no future for me. They'll just keep giving you this shoulder like you are not doing enough. No, no, because you're a female, because you collected sick leave for your child, because you were sick last week. Just give you that vibe of. So if it is that case, please leave that environment because it will affect you. It will affect your mental health. Please leave that environment. But if that is not the case, please speak up. Thank you very much. There's a question in the comment section in the message. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. I had to sit back, reflect on this question. Okay, how do you strike the balance between coming across as confident and assertive versus arrogant and confident in professional spaces? Whenever you speak up, hmm, people see you as being arrogant and you're overconfident. Now, I was at a conference and it was an HR conference, and something struck me when they mentioned the fact that emotional intelligence is what you need at that point. You have to study your managers. You have to study your space. I use the word study your space. There is no way you are going to speak up and you realize that the environment does not allow or permit that kind of outright speaking up. And you think you will be doing it and they won't take it as arrogance. So study your space, know your environment, your workspace, your whatever environment you find yourself, professional environment you find yourself, study the environment. Then you will know how to communicate. This is communication major and the recipient as well. So for instance, I say things like, I think I'm due for a raise this quarter or this review period. Nana might take it as, what's wrong with this? Are they doing? Why is she coming at me as yes, Adedoyin might deserve a raise, which is the fact. But the way it's spoken of, the way you communicate it matters. And that is why emotional intelligence matters, human management matters, because I look at Nana and I find out that Nana is always very defensive. So if I have to communicate with her, I should communicate with her as a person, especially when she's in my line manager. I report to her. I have to be very sensitive on how I communicate to her. If I want my information still being passed as confidence. So that is how I'm going to answer that. Be very, very emotionally intelligent with your environment, your professional workspace. Not all workspace you can say it as it is. Sometimes you might have to say it, but more like make it more flexible. Yes, that's the word, more flexible. So you don't come out as being arrogant. Arrogance is just perspective to me. Does that answer the question, Moyo? Do you have further questions to that? Okay. So do we still have any other question? Okay, so Rebecca, if I may call you, I guess you're done with 1 and 2. Would you like to share? So let's also learn from your own what you have been able to itemize. Hi, Rebecca. Is she still on the call? Oh, I don't think Rebecca is still on call. Okay. If Rebecca is not on call, who else is? Is Nifemi on call? Nifemi. Okay, Nifemi. Okay. No, what's that? Good evening. So you said you're finished with the first and the second one. Would you like to share? Okay. 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 Thank you very much, Nishami. And that is what we're talking about when we are mentioning all those action plan. You have been able to pick it, identify it. Now you know what to do. And this is what you should always do whenever you feel like this. Because the next time now you know it shouldn't catch you unaware when you're going for a meeting, you will have gotten more prepared. And that's the essence of things, seminars, programs, events like this. So do you understand? Thank you very much for sharing that. Any other person would like to share who has done the two? Any other person? Nana, okay, Kennedy. All right, Kennedy, please go ahead. Hi, Kennedy, you raised your hand. Hi, Kennedy, do you have something to speak, to say? All right, Nana, over to you. Okay.